I'm Rachel Ann Goodman, and this is Talk of the Bay on KSQD, KSQD Santa Cruz. And coming up at 6 o'clock, it's the kooky side of crazy with your host, Ryan Althouse. He'll be talking about issues related to mental health, how you can be a healthy person, and what makes people feel good when they're working their way through problems. All that coming up at 6 o'clock here on KSQD 90.7 FM. We are community radio. That means we talk about things that other radio stations don't touch. And I think that's part of our charm, is we love to hear voices that don't get heard very often on the radio. One of those voices would be the story of the Braceros. Part of the Bracero Legacy Project is Daniel Ruanova. He is my guest here today, and he's part of the Transborders exhibition, which is coming to Santa Cruz this weekend, I believe. Can you tell me a little bit about the Transborders project and the we'll get into the history of Braceros in just a moment. Yeah.
Yes, the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History is producing an outdoor biennial project called Common Ground. And they invited the Bracero Legacy Project, who is myself and my partner in crime here, Ignacio Ornelas, to present one of our projects that is an amalgamation of art and history. It's called Transborder. And Transborder is huge prints of 1954 archival images taken in Mexicali, Calexico border of Braceros, commissioned by none other than el señor Ernesto Galarza, Hugo Chavez before Hugo Chavez, to try to show in U.S. Congress the ills that all of this labor was doing to labor rights in the United States. These images that were printed or were commissioned to show this horde of Mexicanos crossing the border to steal American jobs turned out to be beautiful images of men with hope in their eyes. And I say they are images of new Americans, not just Mexicanos taking your jobs. These images, as part of the Ernesto Galarza archive at Stanford University Special Collections Library, really intellectually and pertinently collected by Roberto Trujillo, director of Special Collections, were discovered by my partner Ignacio during his search for his own legacy, because he is a grandson of a Bracero. So we are bringing these images to light after 60, 70 years of them.
Nobody in the public has seen them until now? Is that
well, they are published right now in the Good Times portrait. So when I met Nacho 6-7 years ago, and he took me to see the treasure in Stanford, well, he is a historian, academic, activist, and I am the artist. I'm the symbol maker, if you want to say. I asked him to let him make them public, and as public as we can.
That's a really great blessing that you were able to do that. I think I'm getting a signal that Ignacio's on the phone. No. On clean feed? No, you're going to have to bring me a note.
No, nah.
So, anyway, I was hoping to get him on. What's interesting is that he's got the same first name as a fellow I interviewed when I did a documentary about the Braceros, Ignacio Gomez of Salinas, who was a Bracero himself. And his story is on my documentary, Pastures of Plenty, which was a long time ago. It came out in 2007. But at the time, his memories were just like yesterday. When he remembered getting on a bus and having them come on the bus and disinfect them with DDT, spray them down. And before they came, but they had their flyers recruiting people to the Bracero program.
And that is exactly the story, well, we have all heard of the Braceros, no? And when I'm going to go a little bit back more in time. So there is a reason why the Bracero comes up in this story. I am a border rat from Tijuana. I am a dual citizen holding person who basically uses the border as a crosswalk. In Tijuana, we know exactly what the border is because, pardon my French, we live in the anus of the empire, if you want to say it like that. So we know when the empire is healthy, we know when the empire is sick, we know what the empire ate, we know what the empire wants to eat. And I have always seen the Tijuanenses, the people that from the border, as a missing link or as a lost link for millions of Mexicanos who are now Americanos that need symbols of pertinence in their new home. So I met Nacho because I was looking for people who weren't going to tell me this story that we all know. That we all know these men were cleaned and disinfected when they crossed the border. But that was 10 minutes of their life. And the stories these men created, the families these men sembraron, planted in California and all around the States. And especially the positive gains that sacrificing your traditions to go to a place where you know you won't be poor anymore shouldn't be seen as a victim. Because Nacho, who has spent his life trying to understand why he was probably one of the only dudes in Salinas that was super proud of his abuelos and his parents. Because his abuelo crossed him on his shoulders from Tijuana when he was 4 years old. So Nacho is the story of this immigrant who left everything and entered the United States like every other immigrant people entered to the United States. But if you enter through Tijuana, Mexicali, Reynosa, Juárez, you are illegal. No? And Nacho turned that all around. He is a Stanford University academic history teacher, and he is not a gatekeeper. And for me as an artist that was this Tijuanense who just came back from living in Beijing and was trying to look for these symbols that made me still want to do something on this side of the border, finding dudes like Nacho that need these symbols that maybe I can help do. Well, it's a perfect mix for an artist because there is historical reckoning and there is academic mischief we still need to do because these men aren't victims. And I hope Nacho calls in. I know he's listening. He can tell you a list of leaders in your community, political, economical, academic, social, who come from Braceros. So, what I did only is help Nacho and all of this story, put it on different forms, because that's what I know how to do as an artist. I know how to create forms so people can look at them. And I think as a border rat, this is what I am trying to do in a project that I think needs to be done, and give all of these millions of people a glimpse into the history when they first became American.
That story needs to be more nuanced than the way it's being told through the people who get the microphone most often, too.
It is a pun. You don't know, not a pun. It is, how you say in English? It is huge politics. Huge. And a until there is the representation that they're starting to be from these people. Now, you have sons and daughters. Ana Ventura Fares, mayor of Watsonville, son of a Bracero. Her sisters, her family, el Señor León.
Señor León invented the lettuce picker. Did you know that? He's a famous inventor.
Es que just give them a chance.
Yeah.
Like everybody else got a chance. Don't own people's political and historical place. So, I'll tell you again, me as a border rat who thinks he has nothing to lose here because I dual holding citizenship and I sleep in Tijuana and I do what I want and this is what I have to do as an artist in the empire. So that's what we're doing at the MA. And we are building these carts at Barrios Unidos because a real cool dude named Ross Newport at Community Printers, who's one of the best graphic designers I've ever talked to, told me that, hey, man, your project has to go next door to me. And I said, who is next door? He showed me, and I said, okay, and we went next door. So I am a visitor here in Santa Cruz, and I'm using your money from your museum. So what I have to do is spend your money in your community with your people, and you will tell me where. And that's what has been happening. Really organic building since Marla invited us. I was hitched here for a thing called the Mexicali Bienal. They recommended me. And the 21st, the 23rd, and the 25th, you can see us at the farmers markets in Watsonville. I think we go first. No. First in the 21st farmers market in Santa Cruz, 23rd farmers markets in Watsonville, 25th farmers market at Live Oak, the 18th an artist talk at the MA at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m., something like that.
So it's a cart. Can you describe what it looks like as a physical object?
I am building old technology because today everybody looks at photos on Instagram and it degraded value on most photo. So what we are doing is we are blowing up these images that are, or the originals don't even have negatives. They are just prints, 3x4 old prints. We are blowing them up, I think 9 by 12 feet, 8 by 12 feet. We are putting them on wheels, on really heavy carts, like ranchero carts, like things you would find on a farm to tell you that you can buy strawberries here or something like that. And we are going to carry them to the farms, to the farmers markets, because history should be heavy, and history shouldn't be easy to transport. So we are making these huge billboard beasts on wheels, putting these prints on them that turned out beautifully because of Ross's mind, if you want to say. And the Barrios Unidos, Nane Enriquez, and all of his crew opened their doors. It is a beautiful place. There feels a humanity I haven't felt in a while. And I am glad that destiny put me in front of this project and I can be the artist that helps out the Bracero Legacy project. No?
Yeah. It sounds like you are finding your way around the right people in Santa Cruz that are helping you expand your vision of what you could do just to the people who want to see it. It's beautiful. And not that many people know the story, even the minuscule part of the story I have noticed. Some people do because they're descended from Braceros, but some people don't know that there was this influx of people that were invited here, specifically recruited to come. And a lot of them came back later. After the Bracero program was over, a lot of them had made friends and wanted to settle here because they knew this area. Watsonville and Salinas in particular was the heart of it. And so you have families with multiple generations descended. And you mentioned Ana Ventura Fares. She and Leon were in my documentary talking about their history and how he came here and was eating, beans with his uncle, basically, as a little kid, working in the fields alongside his uncle.
Every American can go back in their family and say the same story. Everybody. Nobody came rich here.
Yeah.
Nobody came invited. Nobody came because they wanted to.
Yeah.
Why are Mexicans all, we're too close or what? So,
Why is Ron DeSantis shipping people by plane and dropping them in the middle of Martha's Vineyard? What is that?
why did my president accept Donald Trump's double border dada? Huh? So, this thing has gone, like you said, let's talk about the Bracero project. What did it do? The United States went on to fight and kill fascism for a while. All the able-bodied people were fighting, needed people to work. You brought in Mexicans. We did the job, helped destroy fascism, blah, blah, blah. Then the program goes down because of politics. But H2A workers still keep on coming. It's not politicized. But you still have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Salvadoreños, of Guatemaltecos, of Southern Mexicans still coming, getting visas, getting paid well, sending their money back home, doing for our economies what our governments lack or don't want to do. So I don't know why immigration is thought as a new story. Immigration is perennial. But now that it is thought as a new story, I am here to try to debunk it. No?
Yeah, I like the way you're framing it, reframing it. Just change the frame completely. And
I'm an artist. I frame stuff.
yeah, you tell us where to look and where not to look, right? Look over here, but don't look over there. That's what framing is, right? Tell us what this project means to you in the context of the other things you have done.
Again, I was for many years a chip on my shoulder guy in Tijuana saying, why does the empire this? Why does the empire that? And not realizing that I am at least 40% Americano. At least. My passport says I'm 50-50. So that means I have to do something here. Really. I do most of my work. I am sons of left-wing politicians in Mexico. No power, just thought, no? So that makes me know that art should do something. No? I frame stuff, but I try to frame stuff that will make you think. And for many years, in the rat race in LA, art scene and things like that, I always realized I was always a Mexicano. I was never an artist. No? I was a Mexican artist. No? Fought that a lot of times. And now I own it. And now it's my badge and it's my flag. No? So I need symbols and I need todos los abuelos que están en nuestras memorias and all of them who died out during COVID because they were dying out. No? And I wanted them to see. At least Nacho's grandfather saw him be Nacho. No? And as how you want to say it, it's not tribal and it's not nationalism because it's superposed nationalism. It is looking all my life at people who were in the north who spoke Spanish, who came from where I came. Because I have to say, I come from California refugees. My great-great-grandfather is a refugee of California. The 49ers stole our land in Santa Barbara and kicked us to Baja. So let's start from there, no? Ukraine stuff. So I have a fight to fight here too. It's not fight because I have grown up now and my fights are more intellectual and artistic, no? So that is why I am looking for these stories, no? I paint, I do my sculpture, I have a plurality of expressions. But here in California, now this is what I should talk about. If not, here they come again, the fascists.
Doesn't it feel like they are reinvigorated right now?
Yes, and we have to stand up to them, little by little, because they don't know any other way how. No?
They need to be revealed for who they are?
Yes, called out.
Called out?
Most of them won't fight. It's just blah, blah, blah. They feel empowered by bullies. Stay proud. Don't let them take you down. They're bullies. We have done this before. And it was a horrible fight. Let's not get there again.
People sort of make it seem like it was always over in Europe, the threat of fascism, right? And now we have our president calling the former president a proto-fascist, or what did he say? He used some funny word, semi-fascist, partial fascist. He did use the F word, though, in a speech, and he got roundly criticized for it.
Let's use it.
Let's use it. Let's call it for what it is. When you try to steal an election and put in a strongman, that is the F word. So you have to call it what it is. This is what George Orwell required of us, is to tell the truth in language, even if it makes some people uncomfortable. So I don't think we're over-speaking when we use that word.
We are not. Thank you for opening the air to this.
Yeah. This is, if we don't talk about it, it's going to overcome us. And that's what you mean by calling out. When you have someone putting people on planes and dropping them off in cities and using them as weapons, and they don't even know where they are in the world, they ask, what is this place? Oh, it's Martha's Vineyard. You just dropped me on an island in the middle of New England? That's where and the report I heard on the radio today was so innocuous. It was like, yeah, they're settling in. People are welcoming them and giving them blankets. I'm like, did anyone complain that they didn't know where on earth they had been dropped and they were being used as a political weapon? That wasn't mentioned in the story, but I thought it. Like, I would not want to be that person who was the, symbol, being used as a symbol. But back to this project. So we can see it at the farmers markets on a cart. It's these giant photographs of braceros taken by our own administration back as propaganda. It was going to be used, right?
Taken by a very important labor rights activist named Ernesto Galarza. He was an important man.
Okay.
But of course, I get it. I used to not get it. I used to not get why farm worker unions didn't like Mexicanos. I used to not get it. Then I got it because Mexicanos broke strikes. Mexicanos lowered wages, things like that. I get it. But I also get it that those same Mexicanos earn 10 times in the States doing it here. So this is crazy stuff about politics and local politics and international politics and my country not getting it, still having 60 million people in extreme poverty. This is Mexico's fault also. This is not just, I think I have to do something with Mexican Americans who have learned about accountability, who have learned about democracy, who have learned about association, because the politics in my country aren't anything about that. And in the north, well, I am, I think, more related to Nacho than to another Nacho in Guerrero or something like that, right? So I'm here to learn also, because if we want to get out of the hole down there, we need to, some help here. They already send a lot of money, but they need to send knowledge, and that knowledge comes when you're super proud of where you are and you start building from there.
Yeah. I have a lot of students who were born in Mexico, and they're in that in-between generation. Mm-hmm. They don't know the language, and when they go there, they feel like aliens to go back to Mexico because people tease them for their accent and their lack of knowledge of the language. And then, of course, here, people think that they speak fluent Spanish and that they're Mexican. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of stuck in between worlds. And I would love for them to find their roots in both countries that they can claim and feel more at home in both places instead of nowhere.
I would love that too, but I know that borderers like me are a state of exception. I would love that they feel American, full-blown American, because that's why they are here for. And they can help the rest of the world out more being good Americans.
But that doesn't mean they have to give up their culture.
That culture and nationality are two different things.
They are, yeah. I'll tell them that because they feel like they can't be both. And that's not true.
Oh, the best mariachi in the world is in Los Angeles, eh? It is not in Mexico.
There you go. I'm talking with Danielle Ruanova, an artist who's here visiting us in our community from the border and from LA, who is part of the Legacy Project and the Transborder Project of the McPherson Art and History Center. And this is a part of the Common Grounds bigger festival of things happening outside. There's some aerial dancers and there's all kinds of things, but this is specifically looking at the Bracero Legacy Project and bringing it out into the community. So if you are curious to see it, you can go out to the farmers markets he just mentioned. That's the West Side, the Live Oak, and the Watsonville farmers markets. In the next immediate time, they're going to be happening this weekend. Is that the only three places, or is it at the MA as well?
After that, they will be placed in the atrium of the MA until the rest of the year.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of time, but they won't be able to meet you, right, until just these three times.
DanielRuanova@gmail.com.
And Ignacio Nacho Ornelas will be there as well. Are you guys making a presentation?
This 18th, Nacho and I, accompanied by renowned photographer David Bacon, we will do a talk about H2A workers, the visualization of labor, if you want to say like that. And let's see what else. It's going to be interesting. I'm sure of it.
David Bacon is fantastic. I read so much of his work and looked at his pictures so much when I was preparing for Pastors of Plenty. I really respect him a lot. What a trio. That's going to be fantastic, the three of you.
The MA is doing good work.
They really are. And Marla Novo is on our community advisory board. We're so grateful for her insights and look forward to working with her. So as I did with my previous guests, if you feel moved, would you give us a station ID? We are K-Squid Radio, community radio for all of us. So if you want to just say something like that, we'll keep it and we'll put it on the air later.
K-Squid Radio for all of us. That good?
You can say your name and then...
Daniel Ruanova, de Tijuana.
All right. Thank you for being a guest on Talk of the Bay. Really appreciate it. It was nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for making that film, and thank you for opening up your airways.
Anytime. It is here for you. So call us, write us, and come back, okay?
I will.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Danielle Ruanova, artist with the Bracero Legacy Project at the MA. Thank you so much. I'm Rachel Ann Goodman. This has been Talk of the Bay. Coming up next, it's the kooky side of crazy, a look at mental health and how you can feel better in your head. All that coming up with Ryan Althouse right here on 90.7 Community Radio for all of us, K-Squid, KSQD, Santa Cruz. This is First Person Singular coming up next.